All right, sitting down with Paul Muradkin of the Las Vegas Metro Chamber of Commerce. Thanks for coming in.
Of course. Thanks for having me today. Appreciate it.
Of course, the annual trip, we had a chance to talk about this last year, but that doesn't mean that the issues have been less important or anything. There are more things to talk about, obviously, going to Washington. So what are some of the biggies that you're looking to tackle as you're talking with lawmakers?
Absolutely. For us, as always, we'll be talking about Yucca Mountain. As you know, the Chamber has been opposed to Yucca Mountain for almost 30 years. We've seen some House legislation move this past early May and early summer. Chambers are still opposing those efforts, so that'll be a big talking point for us as we see more folks wanting to transport Yucca Mountain materials to the site. We'll be opposed to that, and we're going to actually be talking to more delegation members outside of Nevada about why Yucca Mountain is not just a Nevada problem, but is a national security and transportation problem.
And that's a big deal, especially timely now. We're seeing a contingent of folks on that subcommittee coming out here to tour Yucca Mountain this upcoming weekend, right, as of the time the show airs. So this is a very timely issue.
It is, absolutely. And obviously, it passed the House. H.R. 3053 did back in May. The Senate said they're not going to take any action. Dean Heller said the bill's dead on arrival, but it's something that we're keeping on top of and vigilant in our conversations with delegation members and outside of our state, too.
The Chamber pushed really hard, I know, on transportation funding in I-11. Yep. That was a big deal. We're getting ready to celebrate an early opening of that first phase around Boulder City into Henderson, but the job is not done. Obviously, the big leg is from here to Phoenix now. Right. So what is that conversation going to be about, and kind of who's involved in that when you're talking I-11?
Sure, no, that's great, and we're super excited by the groundbreaking, the opening ceremonies in August for that, but you're absolutely right. We still have a lot of work to do on the Arizona side, about 283 miles, oh, wow, give or take a mile or two, but we're doing several roundtables with Arizona, Nevada, committee members from the House Committee on Transportation. We'll be hosting the I-11 reception again this year, so a lot of focus on transportation while we're in D.C. We know transportation infrastructure investment is a priority of this administration, and we're trying to leverage that to help secure dollars for the project on the Arizona side.
One thing I noticed here that you'll be talking about is a systemic approach to releasing public land. Public land is a controversial issue here in Nevada. So how does the Chamber look at that, and kind of what is that approach that you would like to see?
Sure. No, that's a great question. Obviously, with Nevada having about 87% of the land held by the BLM and the federal government, it's an important issue for all of us. And the Chamber is working with Clark County, our city friends at the City of Las Vegas, Henderson, North Las Vegas. Clark County recently passed a resolution, so we'll be having those conversations and panel briefings on public lands and meeting with Chairman Bishop from Utah, who handles public lands in the House.
And the Chamber's not advocating for wholesale release of vast tracts of land, 30 or 40%. It's nothing like that. You're talking about select areas, correct, that would spur economic development?
Absolutely. So a systematic approach that allows growth and keeps us driving that issue in our community. Because obviously public land is a huge issue for residential and commercial development in our city.
Las Vegas has really been pushing to try to get increased funding now, Homeland Security funding. This has been a battle even before 1 October. We're seeing some increased money now after that has happened, but where does the Chamber want to see this go? How does the funding need to change for Nevada and for Southern Nevada specifically?
Well, we absolutely think more money is absolutely appropriate, especially after what unfortunately happened October 1. Senator Heller was able to get some changes this year in the formula, but there's still a lot of things that need to be changed in the formula. One of the issues is that the Las Vegas Strip is viewed as one asset. They don't take into account that every single property is, in our opinion, a different asset and a target. So that's part of the formula we need to continue to try to advocate for change.
And that could be to the tune of millions of dollars in additional funding.
Easily. So it would definitely benefit our entire community.
And that would kind of go with the general theme of trying to increase federal grant dollars as a whole coming to Southern Nevada. Nevada is a donor state, correct me if I'm wrong.
Correct. And we're doing better every year. We're doing better with a lot of the things we've done in Carson City to help facilitate our grant applications, our dollar returns, but we definitely are returning dollars and not taking as much as we should back from the federal government on that issue.
We were talking just briefly before we started taping here. The association healthcare plans, we got a little bit of love out of Washington, D.C. Yes. Explain a little bit what that is and how the Chamber was involved.
Sure, absolutely. So last October, the President put out an executive order saying that they're going to be reestablishing or revising definition of association healthcare plans. Mm-hmm. Chamber for almost 30 years offered a very comprehensive plan for our members. It went away during the Obamacare regulations, but it's an administrative rule through DOL, and it's an opportunity for us to once again offer health care to our members. So we'll be meeting with Secretary Alexander Acosta in D.C. when we were there. We're really excited about it. The Chamber submitted formal letters into the Federal Registry. We've already announced that we're working with our health insurance members to see what we can offer again. And we're taking the lead on the national conversation about why this is important to chambers and to the business community to offer affordable health care to our members. You know,
it's interesting going down the list, talking about several of these topics. Nevada is not by any stretch of the imagination one of the largest by population, states in the country. Yet even now, even without Harry Reid, a lot of talk was Harry Reid helped keep Nevada relevant and drive the conversation. But even so, Nevada still seems to be leading the way in a lot of issues, or at least driving the conversation in Washington. How much does the chamber, do you think, play into that?
I think that's a great question. I think that's something our organization realized, 4 or 5 years ago, we had to take a more active role in the federal conversation. Senator Reid has been a great advocate for our community, and we realized, though, at some point he was going to retire. So we stepped up our presence, and we're really engaging on issues that we know we can influence. Yucca Mountain, healthcare, public lands. Those are issues that are important to Nevadans. It's an area we can influence, and that's why we focus on those particular areas. And we work very closely with our delegation, Governor Sandoval's office, our local government leaders. So it is a collaborative effort at the national level.
And it seems like on most of these issues, our delegation is very tight-knit and very unified.
Absolutely. I think that's where the strength comes in. The unification and unity really helps those conversations.
Well, the trip is kind of fast and furious. It looks like it's the July 15th through the 20th. All said and done, when you come back, and what are the big takeaways that you want to have? Are there any kind of big ticket goals or check marks that can happen when you come back you can measure right away?
Absolutely. I think the developments with the Association Healthcare Plan, that timeline and moving forward with that, building a stronger coalition on Yucca Mountain and opposition, and obviously I-11 and building that relationship with Arizona and our delegation members in Congress. Those are some of the big takeaways for us.
Anything else you want to add about the trip?
We're excited to be going out there, and we have people. It's great to have our members engaged with us. We're taking almost 100 people. That's great for us, and we're really excited to have that level of engagement. So very excited.
All right, Paul. Well, we sure do appreciate it. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.